What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Today we're here with Kathare Mundit. Now, this sister, grew up in Ethiopia, and she's definitely involved in some things that we definitely need to discuss because I'm all about economic empowerment, and we should be about economic empowerment no matter where we come from throughout the world. So, Kathare, thank you for joining us on the show today.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right, Kathare, for people that say maybe watching, never knew anything about you, or say, well, why is she even on the show? Could you tell people just a little bit about yourself?
Oh, so thank you for the opportunity. Yes, my name is Kathare Mundit. I am South Sudanese. I was born and raised in Ethiopia. I came to the United States as a refugee about 20 years ago with my family. So I am an entrepreneur. I am a realtor. I'm in forex trading. I am a distance runner. I run marathons and half marathons. I'm a model. Yeah, it's a lot of stuff that I do, but everything that I do, if I don't enjoy it, I don't do it. So yeah, that's a little bit of myself.
Well, let me ask you a question. You say you came to this country as a refugee
Yes.
from Ethiopia or from South Sudan?
So by blood, both of my parents are South Sudanese, but I was born and raised in Ethiopia because they left South Sudan because of the war. So I was born and raised in Ethiopia, and then I came to the United States as a refugee with my family.
Okay, so you came under just asylum is the way your family came in?
Yeah, because as South Sudanese, a lot of us came here as a refugee because what was happening in my country, because before it was just Sudan, but the North and the South was fighting, and now we separated. So we two different countries. So we have South Sudan and we have Sudan. So South Sudan, we are the youngest nation in the world. We only get independence in 2011. So we are now two different countries. But the war was happening for so many years. So my family, my mom and my dad and my brothers was very young. They left Sudan and came to Ethiopia. And that's when I was born and raised in Ethiopia. And then I came here as a refugee.
Okay, so leaving Sudan, going to Ethiopia, that's definitely a different, different lifestyle, different culture. They're definitely a little bit more Orthodox Christian there.
Yeah.
Yes, I know they have Muslims there, but definitely. Now, what did your family practice? Were they Christians or were they Muslims?
Yeah, we're Christians. So that's one of the issues, that the biggest problem that we was fighting, the North and the South, is the North are Muslim, the South we are Christian. The other problem is, of course, they treat us as a second citizen, we are the native of the Sudan. So that's the problem was happening. They try to do controlling to change our religion, also look down on us because we the black, the native of the Sudan or South Sudan. But the resources, they were taking all the resources because the North is really desert. They don't have anything. The oil and all the resources was in the South. So they was taking it to benefit themselves, but there was nothing left for us in the South. And they were treating us in a wrong way. And we wanted to separate from you guys. So that's what war happened.
Okay, so and just for the audience, so they can just understand, the gist of Sudan. So, is it safe to say that Sudan was mostly homogenous black people, or do they have Arabs in the mix of that?
So the North is Arab, and the South is we black. So, but now because so many years it's become mixed, but still most of the southern is we are the black, and the northern are the Arab, but it's still mixed in between.
Okay, so basically you saying that Muslim is so if a black person is a Muslim, they'll try to fight against the South or be against people in the South just because they're Christian. It's not based on a racial thing, it's based on religion? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, both the racial and the religion is both combined, because the North, they are Muslim and they are Arab, and we are Christian, also black. So all of that isn't combined. They try to control us and change our religion, change our culture, look down on us, and you can name it, So those are the problems was happening. And then we decided, we're gonna fight this, and we want to separate, and we want to have our own country because we wasn't going nowhere. Yeah, those was the main problem.
So it was safe to say that the Arabs would like to call the black people Abid a lot. Would it be safe to say?
Yeah, yeah, I guess you could say that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And,
yeah,
and ladies and gentlemen, Abid is basically calling you a slave.
yeah.
Um, yeah, I let people know, say, what is that term? And so you got to know them terms they be calling black folks now.
Yeah,
What group it is, so we'll know when they're trying to talk down on us. So,
Mhm.
yeah, and maybe you can let people know this, the Arabs was trading slaves way before the white man.
Yeah, that was doing that before the white man. This has been happening for a very long time. And they still actually doing it in some part of Africa as we speak today. So it's nothing new. So this is still going on right now, which is some of the countries is a big problem. Um, they taking people organs, all kind of crazy. In Egypt, they doing it right now. Even some of the South Sudanese people, even some of the black people go to the hospitals and nothing you coming there, so one of your organs is missing. So this is the things that people don't talk about, but these are real problems as we speak right now.
So let me ask you a question, and I've always had this question. Maybe you can answer this for me. If
Sure.
and I'm not a defender of Mzungus at all. I'm not, and everybody know I don't defend them. But if this was white folks doing that right now, wherever these white folks would be from, it would be hell on earth. So why is it that the Arabs is still getting away with things like Sister Wangel had done a video here about the kafala system, doing things like that. The like you say, the organs. Why is it the Arabs are getting away with this and no one is calling them out about the slavery and the organs and the kafala system and all that? Why aren't they being called out?
That's a good question. This is one of the reasons that I'm so into the African leaders, because this is something that we have our issues that we really need to solve, because we talk now, oh, the European or the white people are this coming to Africa and doing this and do that, but we have some serious issues that we really need to really talk about in Africa, because this is your own, because they still think they better than the black, even though we all in the same continent in Africa. So this is a big problem that I believe the leaders, the African leaders, this is something they have to stand up and they need to say something about it, because it's happening as we speak right now. But it's like they're not doing anything about it. But I have family members, I have friends who live in Egypt, and they can't even go to the hospital as we speak right now, because they said, if I go to the hospital and they inject me with some kind of medication or whatever, I might end up losing an organ. And people are scared of that and treating them really wrong over there. So at the end of the day, this is something the leaders have to stand up and really talk about this issue, because they don't talk much about it. They don't say anything. It's like something silent. Nobody say anything about it, but this is a big problem. And these are the things that we need to speak up for us who have voice.
Okay, so let me ask you a question. Just as a Black American, do you recommend? Because I've always been leery about Arab nations. Period. I don't hate nobody. I don't, but I've always been leery just based off of their Sharia law. And if something happened to a woman over there, some guy assaults her, she can go to jail. Not the cat that did it. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So would it be safe to say that for Black Americans to avoid those kind of nations, even in the continent of Africa? Would it be safe to say that?
No, I mean, I believe every country or everybody have their own tradition. Even us Black people, like when I say African, I don't just say Africans, people who live in Africa. I say, when I say African, including who African Americans are here. If you Black, period, you're African to me. That's how I call African. But yes, on those traditions, even myself, because I grew up here, I came here at a very young age. I grew up here in the United States. There are definitely laws for female that you have to be so aware of. You have to be careful, because there are certain things that you cannot wear in those countries. And my thing is, and this is what I advise to everybody. When you go to people, countries, or culture, just respect their culture. That's my take. So because they are very strict, because most of them are, they're Muslim. As you can know, women have to cover her face, have to cover this and this and that. And I feel like, in the African period, like there's a lot of big issues when it comes to women that they don't talk about, because it's like they really give women a lot of credit or treat women a certain type of way. Things are getting better now, but this is something like I'm so passionate about, that as African women, like we have voice, we smart, we have all the things that you can think of, but there's a certain way we've been treated, and that's have to change. And when you talk about those Arab countries, they're even more deeper than that, because yeah, they don't treat women right. This is some area. Women not even allowed to drive cars. Think about it. We are in 2020. So yes, for your own safety, I would tell people, just be very mindful, be very aware. If you go to those countries, if they want you to cover up, just know you in somebody else's country. That's advice I would take. That's what I would do. Like if they said, "Oh, you can't do this," cool. What are they doing? If I have to cover myself, just cover myself and keep it moving, because you can get arrested. Anything can happen, because there's a lot of recklessness going on over there. So for your own safety, that's what I would say.
Yeah, that's why I asked that question, because for me, I just don't have no desire to be. I know it's the continent of Africa, but just those nations that Arabs are running, due just to how they get down, and how, like you said, the issue you guys had in Sudan, and you guys had to break apart because of the racism, and yeah, religion may be part of it, but mostly because of racism. Let's call it what it is.
Yeah, it is.
A lot of them think they're better than black folks, and that's just really what, and you see it in America. You see the same thing. So nothing has really changed.
No, we're going through it right now.
Exactly. And the bad thing about it now with us here in America is, one thing, we got to deal with the white supremacists. Okay. But then we got to deal with these other groups too, joining in with the white supremacists on top of us, which makes it worse.
Yeah, it's just a lot. As us, you know what I always said, as us black people, we are the one race everywhere that you go being treated wrong. And I think this is started from our leaders called Africa. Those people, the time they put their foot down and say, enough is enough, and that's where we're going to get respect as black people, because they don't even treat their own people right. So what makes you think the rest of the world going to treat us right? And when it comes to slavery, something I wanted to also say, that is take two of them make the situation wrong, because if Africans, and this is something they don't acknowledge it, because you people, you African, you sold your own people to white people for them to be slaves today. Because if you would say, no, we're not going to sell our people, this is nonsense, we're not going to do this, me black people will not be going through this. But the fact that you sold your own people, they always look us down as black people. So everywhere that we go, that's why we have all of these issues. We don't even treat ourselves right back in Africa, because this is where we all came from. So I don't care if you're in the United States, I don't care if you're Brazil and the Caribbean, I don't care where you at right now, but all of us came from Africa. So if we don't treat ourselves right over there in Africa, whatever the leaders are doing right now, because they selling their own resources, they treating their people wrong. So what makes you think the world gonna respect us and treat us right? The moment the African leaders took a stand and say, we're not going to take this nonsense, we're going to start treating our people right, we're going to protect our resources, all of those things, the time they do that, you see the black people will get respected in the world. That's my opinion.
Yeah, and you, I believe you're 100% right on that. It's because we talk about hey, connecting with the continent, and hey, at least getting a stake on the continent. But reality speaking, I'm a realist. Much as they say you can come to the continent, you can do good there. But if we talk about the grander scheme of things, when it comes to, like say, like a mass people coming, like say particular countries, that's not really promoted as much. And since more so about maybe some of the politics of that on the continent, why do you think that the leaders are a little bit more silent on taking advantage of black people globally more so than what they should?
Because they control it by the Western world, quite blank. As we speak right now, the Western world still controls them. All the laws, the rules, anything you name it, the Western world still controls them. Tell them what to do. And that's why we have all of this problem right now. They do not stand up for their own two feet and say, this is a big continent. We talk over a 1 billion people live in Africa. They still telling them what to do until today. That's the problem. The Western world still control Africa 100%. And they're scared because think about it. Every time they have a good leader African, what happened to them? They kill them. So they're scared.
Okay, I'm glad you said that. So you said if a lot of Western powers are still influencing African leaders, then do you believe that Western powers do not want Africans, whether you're I'm gonna say displaced African, Black people, whatever word you want to use? So are you saying Western powers do not want a major influx of people from the diaspora back into the continent? Are you saying that?
They just don't want Black people to unite it, period, because they know the power that the Black people they have. If they united, they feel threatened, so they would do anything distraction. So every time you see there's a war going on, there's somebody supplying the weapons to kill each other. It is what it is. We are in 2020. It's nothing secret. It's nothing hiding. It is what it is. The Western world, any chaos you see right now is in Africa. They have something to do with it. Quite blank, period. They can manipulate things for so long, but we're not stupid. We know what's going on. We're very intelligent, smart people. So you cannot manipulate people for so long and think nobody knows what's going on. We know what's happening. It's just that they have so much control over those leaders. They control everything in Africa. That's the problem that we're having right now. If Africans leaders say, take your stuff, we don't need it, and we're going to die hungry or whatever it might be, let it be. But we don't want your stuff. Go where you need to be. Also, you have to realize the Western live on Africa. They don't have their own resources. They don't have their own resources. If you look at included US, they don't have their own resources and say, oh, this is our resources. So they have to find some distraction, something worse in Africa. They have to do something to benefit from it. It is what it is. We're not going to sugarcoat this. We're not stupid. We know what's happening. So as soon as somebody's smart enough and figure things out, what's going on, they kill that person. Look, Gaddafi. We can go on and on and on. When somebody tried to do something good for Africa, unite Africa, do something for Africa, next thing you know, that person got killed because they know what they're doing.
Okay, so with that being said, then let's talk about China coming into the continent of Africa, and the U.S. is very bothered, or Western society is very bothered about China coming into the continent of Africa. Of course, I'm not a fan of China coming to the Africa because China has done a lot of things that I do not like and I detest. But how is China disrupting things for the West? Because it seems like they starting to go back and forth about that.
It's a war now because China is coming. China have this is the difference between like China and Americans. So Chinese, they come, they do their thing, they go by their day. They're not talking about policies, change that. They just need to do what they need to do and be out. And then American came in. Now they dictating you what you should do, what you should do this. Oh, your policy have to be this, da 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 da. You have this law, that law. Like it's like me coming to your house and tell you you have to do this, you have to do that. You be like, who are you? This is my house. You telling me what to do my own house? So even America do things, it just like will come to your house and tell you what to do. It's like a lot of Africans have a lot of issues with that because there are things we don't agree with. Like there are things they do here in America. Dude, that's you. If y'all want to do that, do it over there. But don't force us on some of the cultures, some of the things you do in your country for us to do it. For example, I'm not against any gay, lesbian, all that stuff. I love all human beings. If you want to be gay, lesbian, that's your life. That's whatever. Do what you got to do. But don't come and force it on us to be a law or to be, you have to do it this way or you have to do this right. we don't know those kind of things. I didn't even know what that means until I came to this country. But there are certain cultures that they want to force us to, they want to force in Africa that we don't believe in it. But Chinese, they don't do that. They just do their work and go by their day. But I'm not also a fan of Chinese, period, because there's a lot of things that they're doing. What they're doing right now is they will come in and they're even their own people to do the work. They're even not hiring the local people to teach them. If that break and they're not there, the people at least know how to fix it. But to them, no, they bring their own people. They'll do their own work. If something would have break, Chinese have to come back and fix that. But if you wanted to help, if you want to be part of change, at least train the local people. So if something will happen to whatever you fix, it can be a building, it can be whatever it is, project that you're working, help hire the local people so they'll know what they're doing. Offer them a job or something. They're not doing that. And knowing that, you know, if they take all of these big projects, knowing that if that government not paying them, they're going to take a whole lot of things in that country, and there's nothing that country can do about it.
Well, now, so I noticed the younger people on the continent, and I've kind of just accepted this. The younger people on the continent is the key to change, from what I see. They're more connected. They're more. They don't have the old ways in them. They are the ones that's pushing unification more than definitely the older crowd. And I'm noticing the older crowd on the continent and the older crowd here in America as well. I'll mention them too. We would call them the civil rights generation, that bunch. Not all of them are bad. I won't say all my brothers and sisters are bad, but a lot of them have made deals. Like I said, just like you say, talking about the leaders. Well, our leaders here in America who are black, who could be in the Congress, Senate, etc., right? Mayors, police chiefs, they have literally are being controlled too. And they don't benefit black people at all. So what you're seeing right now, the protests and everything with the young people, do you believe like that generation is the one that's going to change the continent?
Oh, yeah. People are sick of tired of it. Like, you know what? The same thing that you're seeing here in the United States, what's happening right now is the same thing in Africa, because these young people, we're in a different, totally different generation. And this is a generation that seen so many things and said, you try to do the peaceful way, you try to do this and that, but we have not seen any change. So when you have a young people have nothing to lose, this is when chaos is going to start. And this is exactly what's happening right now in the United States. We are in generation millennium. We go to school and have degrees, have this and that. They don't see any change. The same thing happening over and over. You know, we appreciate everything Dr. King did. Everything was peaceful and this. We give you peaceful, to still same thing happening over and over. So now you have a young generation have everything in their hand. You talk about technology, you talk about all of these tools that they have. They had enough. Like, we give you peace, you give you everything that peacefully we do everything for all of this year, but nothing have not changed. So now you're in a generation that have nothing to lose. So they say, if you want to set this thing on fire, let it be. And this is the kind of attitude that they have. So even my thing is, you guys have to do something ASAP. Like, if they're not doing anything, you can see it right now. The person who just got killed right there in the window, what happened? They burned that place down. So you in a generation that have nothing to lose. So people, even the government, if they're not seeing this thing and they're not making changes, this is what's going to be like life going to be in the United States, not only United States, but in the whole entire planet. As soon as the government, because people are sick of government, they control so much, they do so much damage, and everything is happening over and over, and just people are sick of it. They tired and say, I don't want to see my children or my grandchildren to go the same way I've been through. So if it means that, you know, gonna take my life, so be it. This is the kind of attitude young people have right now, and change will come. Trust and believe me, because they're not gonna back up.
Yeah, I definitely, I agree with you 100% because something got to give. I mean, you can't just keep on, keep it on, keep it on. Even you look at apartheid South Africa, that didn't last forever either. And you know, like I said, that didn't end quote unquote peacefully either. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
For it to change over. Now, of course, South Africa, as you know, still have some of those elements there.
Right.
And you have some sellout, you know, black folks that's kind of still siding them folks, but that's a different story for a different day. Now, you know, one thing also you're involved with, like I say, is, you know, real estate, and that's good. You run your own business with that?
Yeah, so I'm a realtor. I'm still working with a broker. So my goal is
Okay.
in like the 3 years time to be a broker. But right now, yes, I'm a realtor, so I'm still under a broker. But yeah, so when you're in real estate, you really work for yourself because you're an agent basically. So it's a listing, selling, whatever it might be. Yeah, I'm involved in real estate. It's something I really enjoy. I love it. My biggest goal actually, you know, to be investor, also go back on the continent and use that every resources, all the knowledge that I have here is take it back home and do it better. But yeah, it's something I enjoy. I love it. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, let's ask you a question, because I know home ownership is one of the things that they really try to keep away from Black Americans, and you're in real estate, and right now is a buyer's market, correct?
Yeah, you can say a buy market. It's just like things slow down because people like shaky right now because people don't know what's going on, like how things gonna look 6 months from now or a year from now. I mean, this is one of the worst recession or whatever you want to call it. You know, people lost 40 million jobs in like in 12, 14 weeks. That's insane and crazy. So people are shaking and they don't want to get into that like 2008 situation. So they like more careful because right now people is trying to see, hey, can I survive the next 6 months, you know, paying my basic bill before I get to some huge purchase or something. But it's something I really encourage people to own a piece of property. Like, you know, this is very, very important because think about it. If you're gonna rent, you rent an apartment for like I live in DC area. So, you know, you talk about 1 2 bedroom, you talk about anything 1,500 $1,600 for, you know, for 1 bedroom 2 bedroom apartment. But why not have a mortgage? Why not buy in a house that have equity? When you're renting, you don't have any equity. You don't own that thing. You don't have that apartment. So why not get a piece of property? You can even do a 4 unit. 4 unit actually is one of the greatest thing, you know, to own, which is you can live in 1 unit and rent out the other 3 units. And then you're actually not paying any rent because those 3 units will pay the mortgage, and you're still gonna have equity in that house. That's something you can start it that way, or buy something that you can afford. That's something is your own. You build an equity in that. Your money, you're not just throwing it away, renting an apartment. So I encourage people do that, own a property.
Yeah, home ownership is definitely, I feel like, the key. You know, even on the continent, because like I said, I'm trying to set things up because, you know, in my mind, I want to have property in three sections of the continent. I want somewhere in West Africa, East Africa, and the southern part of Africa. You know,
That's very
so
smart. That's very smart.
from my research, I found out it'd be better to like buy those real nice apartments.
Yeah, I mean, if you have the mean for it, definitely you can buy it. You can even buy a land and start building there. Like things are so cheap, and that's what people. This is what African American like don't understand. Don't listen to what is on TV or what on media about Africa and everything. Do your own research. It's a way to block you to where you like think about it. If these people bring you to this country, do you think they would tell you the truth about yourself or the truth about where you came from? So why instead of I heard a lot of like I encourage my African American like, oh, I'm gonna go to vacation somewhere in Paris and there's like I'm like, why don't you go vacation where you came from? So you can see that with your own two eyes. Even this energy totally different when you come to Africa because it's home. It's home. Like go there, you know, see what's happening. This is where you like I have friends who went there and say, this is the greatest thing I've ever done for myself, going to Africa visit. I have friends who actually own properties, buy property in Ghana and different parts of Africa. They're like, I even have two friends who just moved back to Africa. They don't even leave the state anymore. They're African American, they're in their 30s. So that's what I encourage every African American who listen to this. get yourself a ticket. Go. Don't listen to this nonsense. There are places in Africa you wouldn't even think you are in Africa, which is way more beautiful here. I don't care if in DC, Atlanta, or California, places you would not even recognize this is Africa. But they will put all of these things in your head just to make something look. All they see the hungry kids, the animals, which is I love, nothing wrong with animals, but this is where you came from. Go invest something in Africa. You can buy a big old land for very cheap. You have $10,000. You can even build a house in a land. You have a land and a house that you build there. If you feel like you don't want to be here, you can get the heck out of here and live a life over there. So I encourage each one of you, invest something in Africa. The next 10 to 20 years, this is going to be the hottest place to be in Africa. That's where you see Chinese over there because they see the potential over there. You from there. So why not invest?
Yeah, I'm with you. Listen, I have my game plan literally laid out. I always tell people have an Africa plan, and they would like you to spell it out for them what it should be. But unless you go, you won't see like kind of like what you would like to do. I say my main thing for people, especially Black Americans, is to go and don't take nobody else's experience. Like what the big problem that I see a lot of Black Americans do is they try to put themselves in the position of a continental African who didn't come from this and didn't have certain opportunities. And they say, well, why do they want to come over here? If it's so good over there, right? I say, but they didn't have the opportunities that you have. Say you come in with an opportunity. The first thing you do when you get there is your American dollar doubles. Some places triple.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. In America, you know how expensive it is, you know. So in the gate, it's kind of like you will be like, I hate to use this analogy. You'd be almost like white people, literally. Going over there with your money.
Yeah, you live in this is what people don't know. You live a good life just because we came here, like you said. Yes, there's opportunities here that we're hungry. That's why you see a lot of Africans here become very successful because we see life. We see both. I came here as a refugee. I see all kind of disaster that you can think of in life as a very young age, killing, all kinds of stuff, rape, probably anything, the worst thing that you can think of, I saw it at a very young age. So when you see those kind of things, and then you hear in the United States when people said, oh, I live in the ghetto, da 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 da. I'm like, yeah, even you live in ghetto, you can call a 911 and somebody really, there's an ambulance can get you and take you to the hospital, and maybe your life can be saved. Or even the police going on with craziness. Yeah, you might call the police, somebody robbing your house right now, you can call the 911 and police might come and help you save whatever it might be. There are situations that we lived in, there's no 911, there's no ambulance, there's nothing. Your faith is the only thing that you can count on. So when people complain about these kind of stuff, I'm like, yeah, I kind of know what's going on with the Black community, what's happening right now. There are things that you can control too. Your mindset you can control. You don't have to be in the same area. You can move. You can do something. I came to this country with nothing. I didn't speak English. I didn't speak the language. I don't know nothing. Well, I mean, when I say I don't know nothing, I didn't know the language. I didn't know the culture. But I work hard enough to say, no, I'm going to better myself because I knew as soon as I came to this country, I was like, well, I have opportunity like everybody else. Kathare, if you're not going to be successful, it's because of you. I'm not going to blame anybody. And this is the problem we have as a human being, as a whole. It's like we want to complain and blame somebody for something, but they are responsibility that we have to take as ourselves first. So if you want to better yourself. But that's the things that I talk to people like, yes, you can do it. Anybody can do whatever you decide want to be. Everything is on your head. So those are things I encourage people like, you can better yourself. You can do the things that you wanted to do. Like, well, let's not just blame anybody for all the things, all the faults, all the things are going wrong. But we also have responsibility as a human beings. So even all the things, the bad things that happen, I don't call anything bad or good. Even though the situations that happen being a refugee, and make me a better person today, more compassionate, more humble. So because the things that I see, because if I was born and raised here, like my sister, she was born and raised here. She didn't never know what this struggle looked like. So she's 100% American, right? So she doesn't know what struggle is. Like the things that I see at a young age, So sometimes I try to tell her, no, you didn't know what the things that we went through. So I appreciate life more. I appreciate people more. I humble myself more because I've been in those situations. So I see the both world, living here and living in Africa. So, and that's what I told people, go see it with your own two eyes. Don't just listen or don't just watch what you saw on TV. Be like there physically. You'll see it's a totally different things than what you see on TV.
Okay, so I'll listen to what you were saying, and I'm glad you actually brought up this conversation. Now, before I get into what I'm about to say to you about it, is that yes, I believe in personal responsibility. I'm big on personal responsibility. Yes, you're responsible for yourself, you're responsible for your children, you're responsible for your particular family, and you need to do everything you can to provide for them and make sure you guys have a good life. We even on that, even Stephen. But let's get to the next portion of the conversation. I listened to some things you were saying, and based off of like when you say you came to the country as a refugee, based as an immigrant. Now, did the U.S. government give you guys anything outside of letting you come into this country? Did they give you any kind of set asides or any money or anything like that when you came in?
So,
To your parents.
So when you come here, well, you come here, the first 9 months, I think they give you like a food stamp. That's like, so you can get yourself situated, and they will give you like apartment to stay with.
Mm-hmm.
It was 9 of us came, and we're like 2-bedroom apartment that they give us.
Mm-hmm.
So, but you have to pay that back.
Mm-hmm.
So they will give you for 9 to 12 months. But once you start working, you have to pay that money back, including the tickets that they bought you here with. So basically, they're not giving you anything for free.
You're right, but they're still giving you something. The later they're saying pay for it, but
you have to pay them back when you get
correct?
Yeah. When you get the job, so all the tickets that they pay for us to come to the United States, we have to pay that money back for our ticket. We have to pay money that they was giving us. There was a church, I think Lutheran church was the one that sponsored us. So for those 9 months that they were paying for the apartment, for the 2-bedroom apartment, but my dad and my brothers have to work and pay that money back too. So it's nothing like given to you for free. Right. For the time being, they look like giving you something, but you paying back at the back end. So,
but you should, correct?
Oh, I mean, I think that's the system. Like I'm grateful. Like I don't have any issue with it paying that back because they give us opportunity to be here. So for I don't. I mean, I came. I was 14,
basically. So do you realize that when you guys came into the country as refugees, immigrants, do you realize that you guys were given more than Black Americans are given on a good day?
Oh yeah,
even you gotta pay it back. I'm just keeping it real with you. Do you realize that you guys literally got a set aside? You said you had food stamps, your parents, not you, food stamps, a place to stay. And what else you guys got outside of that?
That's it. With food stamp and the apartment, they pay for the 2-bedroom apartment.
Okay. So we both know on the continent of Africa that wouldn't have happened, correct?
No, of course not.
Okay, we both know that wouldn't happen. Okay. Black Americans, for instance, our history here occurs slavery, you know about that. Reconstruction, when Black Americans out of slavery was literally building. I'm pretty sure you heard about Black Wall Street, right? All of that.
Yeah.
Okay. We built 70 plus towns, not neighborhoods, towns. And you know the story of Black Wall Street. White people destroyed, everything that we built, literally.
Yeah.
And if they wasn't destroying what we built, they were lynching Black people.
Yeah.
They were sabotaging businesses. I'm pretty sure you heard the term redlining.
Yeah, we learned that in real estate.
Didn't let us be a part of the Montgomery GI Bill at first, even though we was in the military, but our families couldn't get the money for college and all kind of set asides with the VA to get homes, etc. So what I'm trying to say is Black Americans have been sabotaged every step of the way. And I studied the sabotage of Black people, even with home loans, you sabotage. You're talking about real estate, which you're in. We're sabotaged with capital. Working capital. You in Forex, you know more about all that capital and investments, etc. Black folks don't have the money because the system has sabotaged Black people. See, it'd be one thing if we were in the condition that we're in as Black Americans and nobody sabotaged us. I'll be the hardest critic on us on some things. But realistically, and we can look at this with the prison numbers, we can look at education, school. We can look at all things, and you literally can see by data how Black Americans are statistically sabotaged. We call it racism. Yes, racism is the truth, but it sabotages us every step of the way. And they would rather someone like you and maybe other immigrants come in and give it to you more so to us. Do you know why they rather give it to you?
Well, this is what I would say. Coming to like I was talking to somebody the other day. This is what people like Africans sometimes don't see. Mm-hmm. Because of you guys, we would now be here today.
Correct.
Because if this is what happened to you and you guys been here, and let me just say, like, generation for 400 years and been doing to you for 400 years and still doing today, what do you think will happen to us? Immigrant just came, maybe 10, 20 years ago. So for me, I always have so much respect and appreciate and grateful to African American, because if not because of you guys take the hit, even for us to be successful here. Yes, we've been through a whole lot. We've been craziness and stuff. And yes, we came here and be successful and all type of stuff. Yes, we doing that. But it's because of what you guys been through. We are benefit for what you've been through. And this is what I told my African people, like just the the generation who just come just like me, and say, you have to appreciate African Americans for what they've been through, for us to be living this kind of life today. If not because of you guys, we will now be living this kind of life today. So we are benefiting for what you've been through. And for that, I will always appreciate and grateful for you guys. That's why I look things different. Yes, because think about it. For 400 years, you sat beside people. They can't get, even the education, the school system. They're not even, I used to like this with teachers when I came to the United States, because when they would talk about history, they talk about things. I'm like, that's a lie. And they were like, oh, you can't say that. You have to listen to what the teacher said. I'm like, but that's not true. So I'm intelligent enough. Just because I don't know the language like that, I know what is true and what is not. You can't tell me my history when it's lie. So when they talk about some of the Black history, African history, I'm like, it's not true. It's like, one day I remember high school, my history class was like, my history teacher was like, Miss Mundit, I understand there are certain things might not be similar or this and that, but you know that here in America, sometimes you just have to go with the flow. Literally, that's what he said. I'm like, so lie is okay? You telling me I have to accept a lie? I used to have a really difficult time because I can't sit there and listen to lies. So yes, for African Americans, they've been through hell until we're going today, 2020. So the hit that you guys took, yes, when you condition something for so long, yes, it's gonna take so much time for that. We fresh, like I just been here for 23 years. So my father, my grandfather, my great-grandfather, they not been through what you guys been through. So I cannot so relate to what happened to you, but I understand what African Americans going through. Even some people say, oh, this lazy dad, they're not doing this. I'm like, no, you have not been through what these people been through for 400 years. So you have not been in their shoes. It's like somebody said, oh, you refugee, no, you have not been in my shoes, what it feel like to be a refugee. Since you have not been look like what to be slavery in this country, you cannot blame these people for what happening. Yeah, we people and take some kind of responsibility, but this is happening right now and still happening over and over and over and over. So for African Americans, I have so much respect for you guys, and there's no way I could live this kind of life today if not but because of what you've been through. And for that, I'll forever be grateful for that. And I say so many times to people.
No, it's not really saying that. I mean, hey, it's most of what you spoke is the truth, and like I said, it's a combination of what Black Americans laid the foundation, and then other people could come in and take advantage of that. And like I said, what we're saying is, when I asked you a question earlier, like, do you know why they prefer someone like you over someone like me? And I was trying to ask you that question. Do you know why?
Well, I don't know why.
I'm talking about the white supremacist system. Why they would prefer you over me?
This is why you have to you have to know about the Western world. Every time they go to a country, have a chaos and said,
Mhm.
we're going to take refugees, we're going to take this, there's something they benefited from it.
Right.
So just because they brought it here, it's not for our own good. There's something they are benefiting from that for us,
Hmm.
for us to bring here. So there's something behind it. I don't know exactly what it is,
Well,
but they know for sure they benefiting something for us to bring.
well, let me tell you the difference. The difference between me and you, or I'm gonna say, let's say you just came here, right? They can't send me back anywhere, but they can send you.
Yeah.
So they understand your economic conditions. So when people come and see, I'm glad I went to the continent. I got to see like really the real nice. I've been into the nice of the nice on the continent. I mean, like 5-star hotels, beautiful homes, luxury this on the continent. And I also went to Kibera in Kenya.
Mm-hmm.
So I
Yeah.
got to see both spectrum of it. Okay.
Yeah.
If I was a person that came, I'm just thinking as a person coming from the continent. If I came from the continent and then let's say if I lived in Kibera, for instance, and I came here, oh man, I'd be like, oh man, I didn't want to coming over here. Man, I'm gonna get a job, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, and you'll work like it's no tomorrow because you see the opportunity like right there to do it versus where you was at, you wouldn't get nothing, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that's why you work harder, and then what ends up happening is you come from that environment, not you, I'm just saying in general, they come from the
Yeah.
environment and then not understanding the foundation for you to get here to literally Candyland, because that's kind of what it is. Coming from some of that to this is Candyland. That's kind of what it is. Okay.
Right.
You just had a stimulus check go out. How many African nations governments gave out a stimulus check for Corona?
No.
Okay, I'm giving you an example. That's an example, right?
Right.
The foundation of America was built by Black Americans. Even the White House, you see Black Americans built there. The Capitol, Washington, D.C., where you stay, was designed by Benjamin Banneker, a Black man, right?
Right.
So what I'm saying is we literally built the greatest nation on earth. So when people come over here, I get it from both sides. Well, what Black Americans are saying is, don't start that saying that we're lazy. Because look, everything you see is our creation. How are we lazy?
Yeah,
you know what I'm
exactly.
saying? And we ain't lazy by a long shot. And even today, we're still carrying industry in America. We have the biggest spending power out of all groups in America with our small amount. Okay, we are. So that's why I just want to make sure that I relay that message, because I was hearing you say something, and nothing against you, but I just heard you saying something, and I said, okay, let me relay that message, because that's what, and this is all about all us coming together, right? My conversation. I want all of us throughout the continent to come together. So we got to have those conversations like, well, why do Black Americans, well, some of them could be lazy. I come over here and I'm a millionaire now in 10 years. I'm like, well, but during the
you don't know what happened.
I'm just giving an example. But Black Americans' average lifespan, they're literally sabotaged, ostracized, and told they're less than from the beginning. In the continent of Africa, I've been there. No one is telling you it's wrong to be Black. No one's telling you, sister, your dark skin is something wrong with it.
Yeah, exactly.
Telling you something wrong with your hair. And then all your teachers in school are Black. The banker is Black. The politicians are Black. Like, you had a positive image of Black versus us. We have everything supposed to be positive is white. And everything bad is Black. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, got you. No, and that's what I was, when I say about the lazy situation, that's what I would try to tell like my fellow Africans who just came like me, when they say, oh, some African American are lazy, they're not doing this now. I'm like, no, you don't understand where you conditioned for so long and you're still fighting every single day. Not everybody have the mindset and said, okay, let me just go do this now. It take a lot of energy because you feel like you're not going anywhere. It's the same thing happen over and over and over. It can be so much and overwhelming. And not everybody can take it that way. Yes, some might say, okay, I'm gonna move from here. And that's what I try to relate with them and say, you guys, this is deeper than what happened. This is something happened for 100 years. It's not, this is just happened last year or 10 years ago. It's been in their blood for so long, and you don't know what these people been through. So you have to be very mindful of what happened mentally, because it can do a whole lot. Once you get people mentally and destroy them mentally, you got them. And that's the same thing happening in Africa right now. That's the problem that we have with the leader. The same thing, because they get them mentally. Look where we at right now. We're in the square one. Nothing is happening. Corruption's everywhere. People are dying, hunger. How in the heck could we be a poor nation, a poor continent, when Africa is one of the richest continents in the whole entire world? That doesn't make any sense to me. So, and that's the same thing. That's what the same thing I'm trying to relate to them and say, why are there so many poor people in Africa? And we talk about African American, this, our ladies, this, they're not doing this. The same situation happening from us over there is the same situation happening from them right here. So you have to see the both side of the story before you make judgment. And that's what I tried to clarify earlier.
Oh yeah. No. We, like I said, we just having that conversation, but it's good because it's good to know who get what, and that's just what happens to your story. There are people who came over the Vietnam War and all different. They're getting cash money to these people, and they really come start businesses in the Black communities where Black Americans can't even get the same money themselves to start their own businesses. So it's more so like I say, it's the government and how they always been so anti-Black against us here and have such an immense hatred of Black people. And like, you're right, everywhere Black people go, they usually dealing with an issue or problem. You're 100% right on that.
Yeah.
But a lot of us, including yourself, have overcome great circumstances. And, you're a realtor, you do Forex. I mean, you got your own things going. I mean, you run many miles a day. I don't do it. I mean, I couldn't do it. I mean, I don't know if your knees hurt or not running that many miles a day. I heard how many miles a day you be running.
Yeah, I guess this is in my genes. So I'm a distant runner. So I run anywhere between 10 to 15 miles a day, depending how I feel that day. So that's how I run.
Oh Lord, 10 to 15 miles a day. So basically, you like some of the Kenyan brothers.
Yeah, I'm from East Africa. That's what we know for. Yeah, we know for our distant runners. It's in our blood.
Let me ask you a question. What kind of shoes do you wear for that? Because you put a lot of miles in those shoes. So what kind of shoes are you wearing?
Yes, trust me, my shoes, they don't last long. So I have like 2 or 3 different type of shoes. So if I'm running a trail, like inside the trail, there's a different shoes for that. If I'm running on the concrete on the street, there's a different shoes for that. If I'm doing like
what are the brands? Like, what are the brands that, like,
I wear a lot of Nike. It's just like whatever I'm comfortable with. It's not as a brand. Yeah, Nike been good so far.
Okay.
I would try as long as I get support. Look, I've been running since I was 5-6 years old, and I'm 37 right now. So I did for over 30 years of running. I played basketball, high school and college. But running something I knew was something I love and enjoy. But when I was in college, actually, I was an 800-meter runner. So I was not even a distant runner. But once I graduated from college, I was like, I can see myself a long career or long way of running distance. So I enjoy distance running. And also, it's very therapy to me. Some people, meditate or pray or whatever they need to do. For me, when I want to meditate, when I want to clear my head, I just put my shoes, do my long running. Sometimes I might do only 10 miles, but if I'm still in deep thinking, I might do more than 13, 14 miles without even knowing that I went over 3 or 4 miles. So this has really helped me a lot. Running been really, really, trust me, been the best therapy for me. Yeah.
Well, you're gonna be out there running outside. Unfortunately, brothers like Ahmaud Arbery. Make sure you carry something to protect yourself. You don't want to these white supremacists running up on you when you're trying to jog somewhere.
Yeah, I'm doing it now. You're very 100% right. So I do it in public now. Like I go in the lake that have a lot of people. So I run in the lake that, safety is very, very important, especially I'm a female. So I have to be very careful. And thank you. I appreciate for that advice. So yeah, it's a lot of crazy things going on, but we cannot live by fear, and be fear about everything. You just, do the best that you can to protect yourself, be aware on your surrounding, and just live life. Nobody knows when they're gonna go. That's that's my thing. I saw so many things in life to the point like, when it's time to go, it's time to go. But I'm always careful and very mindful. But I just live life. I don't live by fear or anything. I just keep on moving.
Yeah, I definitely understand that. So Kathare, Kathare. I'm sorry.
No, you
Oh
did
Lord,
not.
I'm
You did
acting like that
not.
now. See, I'm messing your name
You
up,
probably
y'all.
were thinking it. How I'm gonna say her name? You
I'm
doing
messing her
well.
name up. Like I said, I've been trying to practice her name before we got started. So, sister, how people get in contact with you? Just in case to
Yeah.
ask you some questions that I didn't get to ask.
So yes, they can email me kmundit at gmail.com. I'm on Facebook. Yeah, Kathare Mundit. You can find me on Instagram with Kathare and Facebook, or email me, like I say, my first initial, which is K, last name, Mundit, kmundit at gmail.com. If you reach out to me. I have a Google number, but
No,
um
we don't want to get nobody your number. Don't get nobody your
exactly. So I'm
WhatsApp
not
or none
gonna
of that.
I
Because
don't
you're
want
gonna have
people
people calling you.
going crazy calling me.
Yeah, you don't
But
need
yeah,
that. You don't need that issue,
yes,
But
but you can definitely email me at kmundit at gmail.com, or you can find me in the social media, Kathare Mundit. That's where you find me on Facebook. You can send me a message, or you can go to Instagram and say, just type Kathare. I'm the only Kathare there. So my name will pop up. Yeah, and I have my YouTube channel, which is I just started. So many people for so many years and say, "Hey, when are you gonna have your YouTube channel?" Because I do a lot of workout and things like that with all other things that I do, and so I finally have that. I'm very excited about it. So, yeah, yeah. Any question that you have, anything I could support you, can help you, reach out to me. I'm here. I think that's we all here as a human being. We all in this together. So somebody you need to need help or something, or be need a support or something. Let's do it. There's enough for everybody in this world.
all right, ladies and gentlemen. So make sure that we'll put in down in the pinned comment where you can go and check out her email and various things. So, Kathare, thank you very much for the conversation. It was definitely a good conversation with you today. And you definitely stay blessed out there in DC with Mayor Bowser putting Black Lives Matter Plaza. I enjoyed
Yes,
that.
we proud of her. So thank you so much, and I'm very grateful and thankful for having me in your show. So I enjoyed it. I'm looking for another time. Everybody, I thank you so much for listening. Like I said, if you need anything, reach out.